how you feeling? Hey guys, Darren from Off-Road TV. I am joined by Eric tonight.
Hey.
Hey Eric. So Eric, this is your beautiful, well, tell us about it. What is it?
Old 60 series, 62 technically.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, 1989. I think it's done about 330 Ks on the chassis, maybe about 170 or so on the motor.
Okay. And engine size?
6.5 liter.
6.5 liter.
Yeah, you know, the middle road.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
V8?
Yes.
Nice.
Diesel.
Can we have a look?
Oh, please.
I love this.
Oh, yeah. It's probably one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So there's enough room to bunk in there if you'd like.
There's a lot of space, isn't there?
There's a lot of space there.
Compared to nowadays.
I think you could probably fit another 3-cylinder in there somewhere.
You could definitely get a Prius engine in there. That's for sure.
You know, they got all those batteries and wires and everything. I don't know about that, but yeah. So Brunswick do this. They're based a bit south of Perth, and they specialize in doing these 6.5 liter conversions.
Okay.
I didn't have them do the conversion for me. I bought it about third hand.
Yeah.
And they had done it back in 2007.
Okay.
And it just ticks right along. Makes a lovely noise, and definitely has enough grunt to get out of its own way.
Perfect. Now, have you done anything to this engine, or?
Mostly a fair bit of wiring changes.
Yeah.
The previous owner I bought it from had some questionable sparky skills.
Okay.
Mine aren't too much better, but you know, I know ugly when I see it, and so then I'm just tried to replace that wherever I find it.
Yeah, and I just say it's very clean.
Yeah, spray your engine with inox. Works well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And we've got
the last trip you and I did, this whole thing was just a pile of red dust and prehistoric fish guts on the inside.
It was.
So
yeah,
a little bit of washing, a little bit of inox. So I've swapped out the clutch for a X-Bed heavy-duty Safari, because the previous clutch was just leg day all day.
Yeah.
And
leg day all day.
Leg day all day.
What does that mean?
So 70 kilogram push, because the vacuum booster was totally shot as well.
Okay.
So just made sure that you get your reps in. You know.
I think everyone will be going leg day all day.
Yeah.
I had to ask.
Maybe that's just an American acronym.
No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So yeah, other than that, yeah, rebuilt the vacuum booster up over there, so that's relatively fresh. And then the house battery's been added with the smart solenoid that connects it to this, because of 6.5 liter naturally aspirated V8 does appreciate a little bit of extra juice when it comes to turning over.
Yeah, I'd say.
But then that wires into the back, and we can probably talk a bit more about that back there. But as you can see by all the plates kind of up around here, just in case anyone from the Department of Motor Transport is watching, this is a fully engineered vehicle. And other than that, yeah, you mind your own business.
Good, you're compliant.
Yeah.
All right, so talk us through the front of the car. What's going on here? This is
that's an old ARB Dakar bull bar.
Okay.
With a couple of halogen light force spotties on them.
Have you used them?
Yeah,
they work.
Yeah, they work just fine. They're, you know, they have a nice warm glow. I mean,
that's covers, right?
Oh yeah, these are covers.
Yeah.
So.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So you know, it's vintage.
There's no fancy LEDs there, is there?
No, just some very, very power hungry halogens.
I like it.
So they're on the list of potential Christmas presents and upgrades.
Yeah.
I've kind of thought about doing a winch, but honestly, the name of the car is Gordo, and it's a bit piggish.
Okay.
Gordo is Spanish for fatty.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like you haven't got any room for a winch, though, is it?
Oh, there's enough room. You could probably put a couple in there.
Yeah, I reckon I could get in there. Okay. So, anything else happening at the front, or will we?
Oh, let's see here. Nothing overly, you know. I kind of like the recovery hooks over the closed points, just because I tend to prefer soft shackles a bit more than the bow shackles. And so those hooks, you know, they're well rated and everything, and it's just a little bit easier to kind of get some of the thicker soft shackle material through, and they're all rounded over, so you're not, you know, running the risk of wearing those out.
So suspension-wise, what's happening here?
So we've got So down here, we've up front, it's a little light at the moment. There's a front steering stabilizer, which is the yellow thing you're spotting.
Yep.
And then it's got a 2-inch lift, and it's running on 33s, 12.5s.
Yep.
15-inch rims. These are the Maxxis Razors.
Okay.
Yeah, mud terrain.
And you put them on?
Yeah. It came with a set of Maxxis Bighorns, which was the previous tire, but they were pretty scalped, and they were 35s. And the 35s, if we kind of swing over here to this fender, you'll notice that the 35s do a little bit of contouring of the inner fender wall when you're at decent flex.
Definitely.
So I've gone back down to the 33s, and it's what the original Speedo was kind of. The Speedo cable for it was done.
Yeah.
And so yeah, now the Speedo's kind of accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, how are you finding the tires?
They were actually great. You can run them real low. I frequently brought them down to like 9 psi when it gets real soft and things like that. So you can run them real low. They don't blow out too bad. The sidewall is so stiff that you do have to get them pretty low for them to bag out.
Okay.
But you know, this whole carcass on the side is so damn strong that I really don't have any fear of staking a tire. No. In fact, I did a fair bit of digging around on the internet trying to find evidence of people that had staked these, and very, very few and far between.
Good. And locking hubs?
Yep, manual. You know.
Don't see much of that now, do you?
Well, you get to come out and do a little fire drill around the vehicle and everything, just whenever you feel like,
I like that, because you're kind of involved and engaged in it, aren't you? It's
kind of fun. It's kind of fun, and my wife routinely laughs at me when I forget to put the vehicle in 4-wheel drive or take it out of 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, do you know what? I would forget all the time. I leave my phone on the roof of the car and all sorts. So that would be a nightmare for me. But I love it.
So ARB side steps.
Yep.
I don't think they actually make the brush bar anymore, unfortunately. So I've been trying to see if I could find a fabricator that might be interested in doing that, because I would like to have a big attachment to the sheet metal.
Yeah.
And so I would like to put a little bit more protection around those front fenders, because I do kind of like getting up into places where it's pretty narrow.
Okay.
But yeah, it's kind of just...
And have you measured your clearance? Because that's high.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. No, I can slide underneath there, no trouble whatsoever. Yeah. I haven't measured it, but yeah, I'd say there's probably at least a good, probably about 8-10 inches.
Let's try and find that out, because that's like Wayne's got a lot of clearance, but that's pretty impressive.
Well, especially for solid axles and the like, right?
And you've got 270 awning? Yeah,
270 awning, emu wing, ostrich wing. Sorry, I always get those two confused. Some big flightless bird awning.
Yeah.
And but yeah, South African awning. Yeah, it's a nice piece of kit, and the company's been really good to me. I had an incident where I failed to secure it properly, and took a couple photos of it, bent it back into shape, causing probably some more damage, and yeah, took it back to them, and they were just like, "So how light was this light breeze?" And I was like, lightish. And they were like, "All right, that's fine." And then
I think I was there. It was very light.
Yeah, it's very light, very light. Yeah. But they, the design's real modular, so you can actually swap if an arm does break or bend or anything. Like, it was, I think, maybe 10 minutes for their guy to swap it out.
Okay.
So yeah, really nicely built. Has great coverage, and I'll talk to you later at the Christmas present thing, because I'll show you what I found.
Cool.
Kind of makes life a little bit easier.
All right, sounds good. And round the back, how have you managed this, right? So you've got one clean bag and you've got one dirty bag.
Well, that one's for clean things and that one's for dirty things.
I like the simplicity of that. It makes sense. But how do your bags know that?
I told them.
Well done, bags. I mean, look at this guy, filthy clean.
Yeah.
Just great.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot going on up here.
A little bit going on.
And your tent is not up. What's going on?
We can address that in a bit. I mean, I know that you're but yeah, I mean, I don't know if you'd like me to pop it right now. I'm more than happy to.
Let's.
All right, yeah. Well, here, let's.
Is it easy?
Oh yeah, it's relatively easy. You just kind of lean against the car for a little bit, and it just sort of takes care of it itself.
You're kidding me. Okay, my doormat feels a bit inadequate now. I have to say. That is cool. That is really cool. So how does that work?
So there's a boat winch inside that actually a
boat winch.
Yeah, a boat winch that winds all those cables up and down.
Yeah.
That's tied in. There's a 250 watt solar panel on the top. That's where that red Anderson plug's going into, and the whole thing's plumbed for that wiring. Then
Okay.
you slide back down around. It goes into that junction box right there, which the guys over at Perth Pro Auto, Klarman and the like they did a really nice wiring job on that.
Is that lights in your tent?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's lights and fans.
Okay. Okay, now you're showing off. he's showing off. That is cool. I really like that.
So it's actually stiff enough on the walls that you can lean up against it while it's up.
Yeah.
Which is real nice, just to kind of like sort of sit up, read in bed sort of thing. And the way the windows work, we'll grab the ladder and pop up there, but you can see that they zip up from the bottom.
Yeah.
And that allows you to really have like this, strong crosswing, because you've got entrances on all four sides.
Yeah.
Even while it's rainy, so you can still have a nice bit of breeze, even while it's raining.
Yeah.
It's a really, really nice setup. It's also South African design.
Yeah, that whole outer bit. Just
the veranda. The veranda's real nice. Yeah. So it even covers my my shoe storage area up here. On the
you've
front
got
of the
shoe
roof.
storage as well, have you?
Yeah, it's very important.
Now he's showing off, isn't he? Okay, and so whose tent is this? This is
This is Bundu Top. So they're a South African company. There's a company down here in WA called WA Experts. They run sort of troopy camper van hire outs and stuff like that.
Okay.
So when I moved out here, I kind of looked them up and said, "Oh, how do you guys kit out your vehicles?" Because I know how to kit them out for Colorado, but it's quite a bit different when everything's like 12 hours apart.
Yeah, and in terms of weight,
yes.
I'm just wondering, right? So you've got roof rack and you've got tent and you've got quite a bit going on up there.
So you take a look at it. You give me your guess.
Oh,
yeah.
I would say like, I don't know, well over 100 kilograms.
Yeah, so it's right up on that. So the tent's 70, right?
Yeah, that's good.
So all alloy exterior construction.
Yeah.
And then the roof rack itself is only 12.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's all alloy as well.
So you're 82 with your tent and your roof rack.
And then Max Track's out a little bit, and and then the solar panel that's on top of the tent's not included in the tent weight because they're clever that way.
Okay, and your roof rating?
So they didn't really do that back in the day.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. So
no, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
It looks heavy.
Yeah, it looks heavy, but it's actually pretty light. I mean, especially compared to a fair number of like canvas tents and things like that that just have a lot of material.
Yeah.
This honestly, it's a very nicely made little piece of kit.
I like it. That is really cool. And you've got lights. Obviously, I've seen these lights, so you've got lights all around, and it's just wired up to the back stuff as well.
Yep, wired into the back as well, and then that's plumbed in through the roof, and that goes into a pair of battery studs that are kind of in the back tray, where you've got a solar charger, and then that wires also up into a 500 watt inverter. I'm planning on doing a little bit more of a third house battery back there. Again, just kind of like having the power up front for like winches and starting and lights and things like that. And then kind of thinking once I graduate to a fridge away from my current Esky, then I would appreciate a little bit more juice in the back.
You probably have got a lot of power consumption going on, so I get that.
Yeah. The output on the alternator is pretty good, but we do kind of like to camp up sometimes for a little bit and not having to run the motor, especially given that it's thirsty, is nice.
Yeah, how much?
About
roughly
16 per. So 16 liters per 100 Ks.
Well, that's not bad. I mean, that's about what I get in the FJ.
Oh, well, now I don't feel bad about that at all.
Yeah, don't feel bad. Okay, what else have you got to tell us?
What else would you like to know? We could pop open the back. We could jump into the cab.
Yeah, let's have a look in the back.
All right, sure.
So you've got rear bar going on there?
Yeah, so this is a strong arm bar.
Yeah.
Again, came with the vehicle when I purchased it, but and it is a weighty unit, but especially with two 33 12.5s on the back.
Yeah.
But
nice.
But so got a little water tap here.
Nice.
In this wing.
And so what's feeding the water? What have you got?
So there's a 110 liter bladder kind of behind these draws, in between the draws and the seat.
Okay.
And just kind of sort of squished and maneuvered that back in there. I rarely fill it up all the way to capacity.
Do take it out to fill it, or how do you
No, so you can actually kind of see a little bit over there down that line.
Oh,
yeah. There's just like a little quick click connect, and then yeah, I just have run a water line off my hose with the inline filter on it, fill her up, tastes just as clean as the stuff coming out of the faucet. So
That's brilliant. Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, I got a little. So you know, these switches were kind of old wired in. You can see some of the leftover wiring I have yet to fully address. Okay. So these are kind of wired in from 1 or 2 owners previous, but one of them, you know, works the pump.
Okay.
And then you've got kind of your tap here, and this is just sort of like your folding, like sailboat style tap. Yeah. So I just kind of plumb that in, and then over on this side, I've got a Sherpa big air compressor sort of tucked away into that wing, along with a fair bit of recovery equipment and the like.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just have that running in with the switch right there.
So basically, this small section here and this small section here, you've covered off water and air compressor and recovery
kit.
That's a really good use of space.
Yeah, it's not too bad. So those 2 old motorcycle panniers in the back there, I've got tools in one of them, and then the other is storage for like fragile food. So think crisps and I don't know, cookies or anything along those lines. Eggs.
Got to be careful with eggs.
Yep. I forgot the eggs this trip. Yeah. It's going to make a carbonara. I was really saying.
Are you?
Yeah, that was the plan.
Tonight?
Yeah, that was the plan, but I forgot the eggs.
You know my 2 colleagues have got no food with them.
Well, that sounds like this is a money-making opportunity.
Yeah. How much is a carbonara?
Like how much is it right now in this particular location? I think probably $80 a plate.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think so too.
I've got burgers and stuff. How much do you think I should charge for that?
Oh, burgers easily $50.
Yeah. Okay. So if we go with 80 and 50?
Yeah. I mean, you know, you want to provide options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a bag of crisps now, or chips as they call them here.
Yeah.
$20?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So, Bushman fridge, right? Slide, anyway. So this is the world's cheapest and oldest fridge slide.
I love it. I love how things like fall out of it as it slides along.
Yeah. So
there's some like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's probably the 2 previous owners' skin.
Oh, it could be. It could be. Yeah,
nice.
it adds flavoring.
Yeah.
But this is my trusty Esky, which I've had actually across like 4 vehicles.
So you brought this from the States?
Yeah, I brought this from the States and everything, and yeah, you know, it works pretty well. I did how long was that trip? 9 days, 10 days?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and ran that with ice, and it lasted the whole trip. Wow. Actually had a little bit of that block ice left when I got back to Perth.
So Santa maybe going to bring you a fridge? You're going to come into the modern day?
You know, eventually. All things come with time. Okay. But the next up on the list is fixing the very tired rear leaf springs. Yeah, so
probably more of a priority.
Yeah, so the rear leaves back here, I think they're a little undersprung for the current weight that we've got in the back, especially with the 2 rear tire carriers and everything loaded up. Yeah. And there's a set of airbags in there, because I think the guy who did the original conversion was pretty keen on towing. Yeah. And so he had some airbags to kind of try and level out the weight. And so they're kind of what's saving me a little bit right now, but they're putting their work in.
I spent a couple of days behind you, and I said to you every day, it's amazing how much that thing is like bouncing and flexing.
Yeah, it's like a clown car. Yeah, I mean, it's literally like some of your drone footage is straight up comical. Yeah. It's great.
I would go through the water kind of nice and slowly and calmly. You just went through it like a maniac. I loved watching it. It was just mud everywhere. So all good. All right, so put that away if you can. Maybe I can lend you some WD-40. We can put it on the rails and
that's part of the appeal. That's part of the appeal. Yeah, you know.
Any drawers?
Yeah. So very much handmade drawers and everything. So we've got sort of like kitchen utensils, provisions.
Yeah, provisions.
Yep. And yeah, the pantry's kind of in the back.
I love your provisions. Oh wow.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of fresh veg and everything on trips. And so yeah, I'll make you guys a bit of salsa.
Obviously, the chopping board keeps things fresh.
So let's talk chopping boards, because this is actually a little bit of a vision, and I'll take you on my vision quest.
Like a chopping board vision.
Yeah. So I've got this right, and this is kind of garbage. Right. This is some very old, very tired you know, Toyota carpet.
It has maybe seen better days, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
you know, I'm sure the carpet's got a lovely history on it, but
Okay.
so my plan here is just to get a piece of 3/16 stainless, put it entirely over the back of this, with a little bit of a lip right here, kind of sort of a 90-degree L, kind of, you know, facing up.
Yeah.
And then I was going to get a bit of a Mari slab, because one of the things I really love doing woodworking and the
Nice.
like, and so especially coming out here, a lot of the woods in Western Australia, you know, we never would get them back in the States. So Mari and Jara and things like that. So my plan is to actually have that 3/16 stainless down, put in a Mari slab on top on a bearing, and that way I drop this,
Yeah.
and then I slide the whole thing with the drop down leg.
Oh, nice.
And I have a nice big L-shaped workstation, because the thing that's frustrating at best is you get all your stuff out and you're like, all right, ready to cook, and then you're like, oh no, I forgot, and then
you slide the
or
fridge
you're
out.
or you're trying to do one of these, or
Been there, done that.
Yeah, so
So yeah, so cool. So you just bring all that
having
out.
something over here would just be a real delight.
Yeah.
And in the long run, if I find myself in a circumstance where I can have a workshop with a table saw again, I would like to do a little bit of carpentry and kind of build out sort of my own custom back end. But right now, I just kind of make do with, you know, what we have.
Do you know what Wayne does?
Oh, what does he do?
What does Wayne do? Well, actually, that could be a little quiz, but
Okay.
he might be able to help you out with this.
Oh, that would be a lot of
Yeah.
fun. That'd be great.
I like
love doing that kind of stuff.
I like that. It's
Yeah.
brilliant. All right, so we're in the cabin.
Yep.
Wow. I love it.
Actually, yeah, I'll turn that off so that you're not having to listen to my music. There you go. But yeah, so here's your side lights. And then this is the jump starter on the battery.
Okay.
So this automatically will kind of light up if there's enough juice kind of between the two. With it in sort of its off state right now, that means that house batteries are slightly lower on voltage than the starter battery, and so they're disconnected to prevent the drain on the starter.
Okay.
Spotties.
Good. Now, the thing is, like, I know that's all impressive and all that, but the thing that I really like, and only a certain amount of people, like, of a certain age will remember this, but...
Oh, yeah.
I mean...
Yeah.
Aircon.
Yeah.
Old school aircon. And the whole, like, oh, it's cold.
It's cold.
And
Yep.
just crank it up to the other side.
Yep.
Oh, and I need the window cleared, so I'll just crank that over there.
and you can actually feel there's something moving
you've got to
in the
fight
dash.
it. It's
Yeah,
like, oh, no,
yeah.
Now I need some warmth on my feet. There we go. Oh, it's a bit hot in here. I'll go down a notch.
Yeah, yeah.
That is cool. It's proper old school.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often nowadays.
So
the only disappointing thing is that you don't have. I really hope that you had like windy windows.
Oh no, this is I've got
it's
power.
fancy pants, isn't it?
So listen to this. Listen to this.
Oh wow, you got central locking.
I have central locking.
Sheesh. Is that a choke?
So this was a choke originally on the 3F motor, because this was originally a petrol.
Yeah.
And so this doesn't do anything at the moment, but I was planning on running a barbed line into the block and running a secondary line off of the radiator to those two rear cylinders.
Yeah.
So as my temp starts kind of creeping up on me, I have the option basically to dump straight cold water or cool-ish water coming off the radiator towards the rear block, because the rear two cylinders on the 6.5 liter, they tend to get a little warm.
My first couple of cars in Scotland had chokes, and you'd start it in the morning, it was frosty, it was really cold, you'd have to like get that choke just right, and things revving like a maniac, and then a little bit too much choke and it like conks out, a little bit not enough, and away you go. And yeah, and doing this, trying to defrost your windows, it takes me back. I love it. It's so cool. You've got a little bit of technology going on?
Yeah, a little bit of technology going on. So this is a Garmin Overlander. Works rather well going back and forth between, you know, like your HEMA style maps as well as your Garmin style maps, and you can plug in directions and it'll work equally well kind of across both the two, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
And then, other than that, just a little bit of dash pods.
And
So the transfer case going from high 2 to high 4 is vacuum actuated. So this is a little vacuum button that, and if the light is on, you're in four-wheel drive. If the light is not on, you have done something wrong, or one of your vacuum lines is leaking.
I could manage that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I've got GME TX 4500 something or another there. Yeah. Vintage.
Vintage ashtray.
Yeah.
You don't get that nowadays, do you?
No, you sure don't.
And
what that is potential switch space in the future.
Yeah, probably. Every car used to have that, and you used to have a cigarette lighter in there as well.
Oh, well, so you would have the cigarette lighter.
Yeah.
Right next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could just,
that way you wouldn't be trying to fumble around for it, and especially when you're having to shift gears and everything.
So talking of gears, how do you find driving the manual?
I love it. I really, really like it. This is the, I don't know, F55 something or another Toyota gearbox, and it is agricultural and very fun to shift. You have to shift it a lot like driving a school bus. Just grip it and shift it. So first, rev it. Second, dump it. So third, smash it, and then you're...
So you're very involved in
it's driving around Perth is a full body sport.
Okay. And not to sort of disparage or otherwise cast aspersions on Americans, but typically in America driving automatic. So how did you land up with stick?
I might be the oldest millennial, but I have managed to, sort of decipher this particular theft prevention mechanism that a lot of other vehicles have been equipped with. Yeah.
Okay. And did you learn in the States?
Yeah. So my very first car actually was a manual CJ7, 1983 CJ7.
What is a CJ?
It's a Jeep. So it's pre-Wrangler Jeep. So round headlights. Before they did the square headlight ones in the 80s, it was the kind of swan song of American Motor Company, which used to own Jeep prior to Chrysler getting their hands on it.
Brilliant.
And so it had a large hole in the back where you could admire the gas tank as you went driving. The passenger seat, which is where I'm sitting right now, would have been an ottoman that had just been nailed into the floor. I don't think that was an engineered ottoman. I just think it was an ottoman.
Yeah.
And the door handles had rusted out of the fiberglass doors, but that had been fixed by the owner with a bungee cord that went from one door underneath the two seats to the other door. And when you went down the road, it kind of did a little flap.
Character.
It was a project vehicle.
Okay.
And yeah.
And
yep, simple Dometic 11-liter fridge, good for keeping beverages and
an onion
and vegetables.
So why have you got an onion in there?
Because salsa.
Because you don't have a fridge in the back.
Yeah, because I don't have a fridge in the back. I don't want a rock onion. I just want a cold onion.
So I love how you've got like an esky in the back on rails.
Yeah.
But then up front here you've got a mixture of beer and onions and all of your food.
Yep, a little bit of water and the like as well, because I like a nice cold water. But yeah, so I just the original center console was a bit of a rattle box. Took that out, made up a bracket, strapped this whole thing down, wired it up, and yeah, it's running off of those rear points kind of in the back.
Cool. Well, Eric, it's been a pleasure. I have to say, I've really enjoyed going through this car. It's like, it's not stepping back in time, but it's a different era, isn't it? And
oh, totally.
Things are simple, and yeah, but the way it's stood the test of time is incredible. Like, this car is looking mint, and
my favorite thing about it, it will not ever beep at you.
Yeah.
We have both doors open. We have the keys in the ignition. No seat belts on.
Yeah.
And it does not care.
No, exactly. And it's in good hands, and I look forward to seeing what you do with it.
Well, cheers, mate.
Cool. Thanks,
Great
mate.
to see you.
Cheers. All right, guys, so if you want us to do a walkthrough of your car, same way we've done for Eric, we are more than happy to do that. And if we do a walkthrough of your car and you're on our channel, then you will get one of these beautiful Off-Road TV t-shirts. So, Eric, thank you very much. And
cheers, mate.
Wear it with pride.
I will.
Cool. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.